On today's wrestling news, top free agents signed with WWE over AEW.
We've got a backstage update on Adam Cole's injury.
Got some interesting but maybe bad news on the Raw Netflix deal.
Roman and Cody are friends now, sort of.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? My name is Phil Chambers and I'm joined by Gareth Morgan. That's your name, I almost completely forgot it. Talk all about wrestling. Sorry about that, I've only been doing this for years.
Just mean.
First up, there's been a lot of chatter about the Motor City Machine Guns and where they're gonna end up in the sort of wrestling landscape, because they left TNA back in March and it's kind of been up in the air for ages, but we have new reports. One from the Pro Wrestling Nexus was the one that broke the story, and then Fightful and PWI have verified it since. But the Motor City Machine Guns have signed with WWE. I think a lot of people kind of expected them to head over to AEW for this. And Fightful did have a note in it saying there were some creative talks with AEW, but nothing came together, and they ended up going with the WWE in the end. Now, Fightful and Pro Wrestling Insider didn't say which brand or anything, or when they were going to appear on WWE TV, but the Pro Wrestling Nexus one did say that they are headed to NXT on October 1st for their debut in the CW network, in the big sort of arena show that they're doing for that. And Meltzer has also confirmed that since as well. So you can expect to see them on the CW network on October 1st in NXT. But yeah, big news for the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, it's NXT's looking bigger and bigger every single week now. Those first couple of shows in the arenas, and as they're coming over and just really expanding in the way that they are, they're looking massive. Like, you got CM Punk and Randy Orton as well in the first couples, and then you've got, I think it's going to be Julia against Roxanne Perez as well, I think I've seen out there. So wow, yeah, NXT's going hard, and the Motor City Machine Guns are going to be such a huge get for that brand right now, because obviously they are like icons of just tag team wrestling, really, like absolute icons of all time kind of thing. And I think they could really offer something a bit different to that division that is quite strong. Obviously there's some brilliant tag teams within it, but I think in terms of like a veteran presence and a really well-known presence, they could just be that foundation or that centerpiece for a while and just help build up all the other teams that are within that division right now. So I think it's a smart move. It's good that they're getting the WWE run together as a team finally after all these years. And Alex Shelley, obviously, I think he did pop up in NXT like once years ago. I think it was in the dark times, like near the pandemic kind of time. So
they had that one match in AEW as well. So they're like the teased sort of move into the big time. But yeah, it's nice to finally see them get a big run in a top tier company.
Yeah, they deserve it. So hopefully they absolutely smash it and they get a huge pap when they do arrive on the scene. Speaking of a person I want to get a huge pap when they do arrive/return to the scene, Adam Cole. He's a guy that we all love. We love Adam Cole. Just one of the real good guys in wrestling. Had a terrible last couple of years when it comes to injuries, and then the real big one that went down last year. It was last year at this point. It was his ankle that completely just blew up, didn't it? And that was a Grand Slam as well. Like, it's coming up to a year. Wow. Yeah. So that was a Grand Slam, and yeah, he was actually, there was a sighting of Adam Cole around All Out, kind of the actual show itself. Dave Meltzer reported this in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. He said that around like backstage at that show, Adam Cole was there, and he was apparently walking around fine. Like, he seemed like he was in like a good state of health, you could say. He didn't obviously appear at the show, and nobody was given a return date for him, like saying, oh, he's here and he's probably going to be back in like a week or so or whatever it is. Nobody said anything like that. He just appears to be okay. Like, he might have just been putting on a brave face, might have just been a really good actor and whatever it is, but he seemed okay. So that's, for me, that's a positive sign. Like, we've not had any other massive updates, like exactly how the ankle and like the leg and all the rest of it have healed. Like, we don't know that much yet, but for me, if you've seen the guy just in good spirits and just in good health walking around backstage, that's only going to be a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things that's just been a long time coming, and it'd just be nice to have Adam Cole back to 100% and back on TV. But again, it's one of those things, you don't want to rush these things. You want to make sure you are well before you go back, as you can end up making it loads worse. So yeah, hopefully this is a good positive step in the direction to getting Adam Cole back on our TV screens where he belongs. Damn it, one of the nicest guys in wrestling. But speaking of things on our TV screens. Some interesting news on the Raw Netflix deal. Now, there's obviously a lot of change going on within WWE and their sort of streaming and TV rights deals and things like that. SmackDown moved back to USA last night and had a big show. More on that later. But the NXT is moving to the CW network on October 1st as well. Raw's staying on USA until January, but he's going 2 hours for a big chunk of that. And then it's heading over to Netflix, obviously. Now, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer has some updates on the Raw Netflix deal. Now, when it does move to Netflix, it is expected to sort of go back to being sort of around 3 hours. But there are some interesting notes on the runtime of Raw in the fact that it's Netflix. They don't have the same sort of TV blocks that like the USA Network and sort of traditional TV networks have. You don't have to hit 3 hours. You don't have to hit 2 hours. You can be a little bit adjustable around it. And he does think that the runtime will end up changing quite a bit, vary depending on sort of WWE and what the matches are on each individual show, in order mainly to make the main events sort of feel a little bit more unpredictable. Like a lot of the time you get to the end of a 3 hour or a 2 hour show and you can pretty much know exactly when the finish is coming because they have to get the show off TV to move into the commercials. So that will vary quite a lot, it seems, but also it will vary due to adverts because Raw will not be commercial free on Netflix. So obviously Netflix paid for streaming platform, kind of expect or hope that it would be commercial free, but Netflix wants to experiment more with using ads on their streaming platform on both live and on-demand content, and they see Raw as a great way of starting this because WWE audiences are already used to a commercial format for the shows. Now, this doesn't mean that they're going to stick to sort of traditional TV style adverts and commercial breaks. There's obviously a lot more adaptability there within the Netflix format. You could have ad breaks that are super short or super long. You could do things like go to an advert and then sort of quickly cut out of it because something chaotic's happening backstage. Sorry, we had to like pull you out of the commercials to bring you back to this, and then go back to a commercial at a later date. Like, there's a lot you can do to sort of mix up the formatting of the TV show and make it feel sort of new and fresh, but that ad breaks will be sticking around, unfortunately, on Netflix.
Yeah, that just makes me laugh that they've literally gone, okay, because we know wrestling fans are used to this. Screw you, you're gonna stick with adverts. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah. So you kind of get punished for just being used to these things. It is what it is. Like, I don't know. If you weren't expecting it coming into the Netflix thing, I think in my mind I just assumed they'll find a way, and they have. They've found a way to get those adverts in there because they want to make the money. Obviously, it's all money-making business. All this stuff.
Paying like $10 billion or whatever it is. So.
It's madness. But yeah, I'd quite like what you're saying there, though, in terms of like just being able to be a bit more flexible with it and just do things creatively with those adverts and like break out of them because something mad's going down, and then just being able to, obviously, again with the main events, like you're saying, just not have things be a bit too predictable. When, like you said, you just knew when the show was going to end, so you're like, oh, it's gonna be a squash main event, or it's gonna be a really long one, whatever it is. Like, you just knew that. Whereas now it's like, oh, anything could happen. Anything could happen in WWE, and it's, yeah, I think that's definitely gonna be only a good strong addition to the product just overall. So yeah, and speaking of big strong additions to the product right now, my goodness, because something huge, like you just mentioned, we had a huge SmackDown that went down last night in, like, I can't remember where it was, but yeah, it was big SmackDown, first one on USA, and WWE did not mess around because they literally went, oh yeah, do you know that like dream team that you thought was just insane and probably would never even happen in your wildest dreams like 5 months ago? Oh, there you go, have it. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are now kind of buddy pal ally things, apparently. Yeah, so this all
that's the technical term for it.
I think that's how they put it actually in the tag. That's the name of the tag team, buddy pal ally things. That's them together. So it just rolls off the tongue.
They renaming the pay-per-view to that as well.
Think so.
Buddy pal ally things.
It's where the money's at, Phil. I don't make the rules. That's just the way it is. So it was obviously a massive show-long thing, this, because we kicked off SmackDown in terms of like the actual action with the steel cage WWE Undisputed title thing between Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes, and they had their match. And then at the end of this, Roman Reigns like turned up, got a massive pop, and helped like fight off the bloodline and all that stuff. Like, he did that, and then after this, it was looking like they were going to go, like Nick Aldis was trying to get Cody and Roman together to be in a tag team to take on Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, who had a bit of a showdown with Roman Reigns inside of that cage, and my head nearly fell off. Like, he just looks insane. Book that match, please. So yeah, that was what they were trying to go for, but Cody wasn't really feeling it. Cody was like, no, I've done my time. I don't want to fight this family anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I want to get out. It's Roman's problem. And that's where it looked like things were going. I was like, oh, it's a bit of an intriguing twist in the Cody Rhodes character, but I kind of get it. That's fine. And then at the end of the show, like, I think it was Nick Aldis came out to the ring with Roman, and Roman was just getting all these ridiculous babyface reactions. The guy is unstoppable right now. And he was saying, like, WWE's his WWE and all that stuff. And then Cody came out and they were just having a bit of a back and forth. And Cody was like, well, it's not really your WWE anymore because I beat you at WrestleMania. So, and it was a bit tense. They were throwing microphones. I was like, are they going to throw down? But then Solo Sikoa turns up with the bloodline. Like, they look like they're going to intervene again and sneak attack. They did launch a sneak attack, but they got fended off by Roman and Cody. But then they agreed. They signed the contract together. So they are going to be in a tag match against Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu at Bad Blood. And this is just insane. Who'd have thunk it, right? That, like, 5 months ago, after you see Cody had beaten Roman and finally finishing the story, just 5 months later, they'd be teaming up to take on, like, a new bloodline. And this pay-per-view, like, obviously, I think a lot of us over the last, like, couple of weeks, couple of months, there's been a lot of pay-per-views, a lot of wrestling. There may have been a little bit of burnout, and I was like, oh, Bad Blood, it's okay, I've got a bit of time, but Bad Blood's coming up, am I that bothered? Now, looking at that show, I'm like, yeah, I'm very bothered. I will be there, I will be watching the show, because it looks stacked.
Yeah, it's going to be good fun. And this as well, like the Hell in a Cell match between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. There's going to be Nia Jax match that I think they're doing, like a #1 contender match next week for that's going to be on it. It's looking like it's going to be good fun. And then obviously the build up to the inevitable big, dumb, insane War Games match that's going to go down at Survivor Series. It's a good run right now for WWE, and now that Roman Reigns is back and the sort of big SmackDown debut, return to USA thing, I guess. Yeah, it's looking like they're starting to heat things up again, and it's looking like a hell of a lot of fun.
I just want to clarify as well really quickly, because I don't think I said it in that massive jabbering speech, that Rhodes did actually beat Sikoa in the match.
Yes.
Solo's the new champion, yeah. He beat him and then the bloodline. That's it, new champ, sorry about that. Yeah, then the bloodline attacked afterwards, and then that's what led everything off. Yeah, I got carried away, okay? There's so much excitement going on.
There it is. But let us know down in the comments below what you think of all of today's stories. Head to whatculture.com/shop, actually, to buy some very, very, very limited merch, like this t-shirt that Gareth's wearing. Very limited sizes available, and they will not be printed again, so get them while you can. whatculture.com/shop, shop, because you're shopping, shop, not ship. whatculture.com/shop. Worldwide shipping is available on there. See, that's where the ship came from.
Okay, I get it now.
Let's just end the video. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me at PhilMyChambers.
And when Phil's done shipping himself, you can follow me at gmorgan04.
What about your other Instagram, Gareth?
Oh yeah, I've got a new Instagram. Sorry, I forget this every week. I'm doing like a new fitness thing, looking at like training and all the rest of it. So if you're into that kind of stuff and you just want, I don't know, a bit of motivational stuff, bit of advice, that kind of stuff, it's called fitness.focus.gm. So that's the Instagram handle. It's Fitness Focus, and you will see my lovely face. Or you can just follow me on Instagram at Gareth Moregram, and then it's like in the bio. So click on that. And yeah, it'd be lovely just to see some friendly faces and just all go on this fitness journey together and just get healthy and just live our best lives. Yeah.
There you go. Do that and have yourselves a bloody good day.